And we do have time for another quick question, and we really appreciate all the questions you're sending in while the program is going, and also in advance of the program, like for the one next week. But for this week, Samantha did write in asking, while having IBS,
yes,
should I be using laxatives at the same time? Will that help or hinder? What would you say?
Laxatives can be very tricky, and the problem with laxatives is that they can be overstimulating. So certainly if you have IBS and you're more on the constipated side and have infrequent stools, laxatives can overpower the large intestine and can cause a little bit more of an irritability there because they're forcing things to move out more quickly. The problem as well with laxatives, whether they're natural or not, is that you can become very dependent on them. And we actually had a viewer who asked a question about laxatives a few years ago, and she said that she, unfortunately wanted to get off of the laxatives because it was something that she couldn't live without. And because she had started taking them, if she would ever stop taking her laxatives, her bowel movements completely stopped, and she would go for a week or more without having a bowel movement. And that is not a healthy situation for anybody who is listening and you're tuning in and that's your situation. It's not normal to not go a day. So just a day without a bowel movement is not normal. And like we said earlier in this program, for women, I want you to have at least 2 bowel movements a day. And for the guys, 3 bowel movements a day, 1 for each good sized meal that you have throughout the day. And of course, everybody has variations and is variable on this, but that's sort of my baseline. And so with this woman, a viewer who had this question, she asked, what is the best transition? Where do I go from here? So one of our suggestions was with the psyllium seed husk. So psyllium seed husk being that great source of fiber was something that our experts, helped her with, and then she was able to slowly come off of the laxatives that she had taken for, I think, about 15 years or so, and she was so happy about that. So it is possible. If you are and you've got questions about laxatives, make sure that you leave your questions, below, depending on how you're tuning into this. Always get in contact with us, and we'll answer your questions. And no, we're not giving medical advice, so I'm just going to say that. But if you've got questions about, some of the things that we talk about in the program, we will certainly help to guide you in the right direction. So a lot of what we talked about with the IBS is applicable if you're trying to lose weight as well. So when we talk about, having that healthy microbiome, when we've got enough of the good guys, those probiotics in the gut, it's really important that we have enough of them to be able to break down our food and turn it into energy. When we have the unhealthy microbiome, so we'll take a quick look at what the unhealthy microbiome looks at. Like for just a second, the unhealthy microbiome, we've got a lot of those bad organisms. So whether that's the parasites, whether that's the candida, and this is what is the swamp. So what I call the swamp is an imbalance. We don't have enough of the good guys, and the good guys are our probiotics, our acidophilus, our bifidus, and there's other really healthy organisms that help us to break down our food to be able to turn it into energy. And when we have the unhealthy thing happening, and maybe it is IBS, maybe you've got the gas and the bloating, you have difficulty losing that weight because you're not digesting your food appropriately, that this can then be related to that weight gain. So again, one of those tips is to get enough of those probiotics into the diet, the sauerkraut, the kimchi, the yogurt, if you need to take a probiotic supplement, absolutely, always designed for your human gut. That's really, really important to be able to now turn on that fat burning, turn all of that energy that you're getting from your food, it should be digested and turned into that energy so you don't have to store it as fat.
And if you have any questions, we want to hear them. Leave them in the comments, and of course, Dr. Janine will try to answer them and be online as often as she can to answer some of the questions for you. I can't wait for next week though, right? I know you can't too. We hope you will see us hopefully next week. Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the Dr. Janine Show. And remember to follow her on Instagram, as we said, at Dr. Janine, for more great tips and recipes coming your way, and get your reminders about the show every week on Mondays.
So bye everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to stay well, stay healthy, and remember to take care of your good health and do it naturally.